everyone, and welcome back to another average review. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at a very recent release, the Marvel Legends mini comic wave Infinity Gauntlet Adam Warlock. Taking a look at the packaging, and I actually really like it. It's a classic blister card, but just the way it's styled is really nice. This blue tinted artwork of Adam Warlock and a bunch of other characters in the background. The font they chose for the Adam Warlock title along with the comic accessory. Along, of course, the classic Infinity Gauntlet logo, and especially this corner box right here with the Marvel Legends logo, along with this saying Marvel Legends 1991, obviously when the Infinity Gauntlet released, and number 1, along with this prototype render of Adam Warlock. It just looks really nice. On the back, you have, of course, a cross-sell for a bunch of other figures in the wave, including Banshee, Miles Morales, Daken, I don't know how you pronounce it, as Wolverine, along with Rom, Space Knight, and Ultimate Iron Man. And those last two, I'm probably going to try to track those down since they look fantastic. Of course, you also have the cover right here for what this Adam Warlock figure is based on, along with a little bio right here, and the other comics that these figures are based on. Honestly, this packaging is some of the best I've seen in the Marvel Legends line in a while. But who cares, I'm gonna open it anyways. Alright, now before I dive into this figure, I just want to preface this by saying the last classic Adam Warlock we got in the 6-inch scale was from 2007 in the Hasbro Red Hulk Build-A-Figure wave. So we've been waiting on an update to that guy for about 18 years. So, let's hope this figure is good, and spoilers, it very much is. So, the overall body mold is just reused from the fairly recent Marvel Legends Vulcan figure, but there are two new pieces on the main figure itself, that being the head and the cape. Starting out with the cape, it's actually very, very nicely done. I love the little folds all around the cape, along with, of course, that little skull and the collar, which really does highlight the yellow inner cape and red outer cape. It looks really nice. The same can be said about the head sculpt. That has a very classic Adam Warlock style face. It's a pretty, angry expression, but I definitely prefer that to just, a standard stoic one. That works for some characters, but I think this actually works a bit better for Adam Warlock. And the hair especially is just perfect. But I do have one little complaint. I feel like the shade of orange used for the face is a bit too bright. I mean, in the comics, it was very, very orange. A lot deeper than the one on this figure. Now, the shade of orange used for his head doesn't make me dislike the figure, obviously, but it's a little bit of a problem since, it stands out from his hair a bit less. Now, we aren't talking about any of the other accessories until much later in the video, but I think I'd be remiss if I didn't bring out this specific accessory right now, since it's an all-new piece, and I am going to be bringing it up again in the figure comparisons. Yeah, that's right, this Adam Warlock comes with his own Infinity Gauntlet. Of course, there's the alternate hand and, well, the gauntlet piece. It's kind of in the name, and they both look great. I do have a bit of a nitpick, though. It isn't anything serious or makes me dislike the figure, but I did notice that in the classic, Infinity Gauntlet cover, the yellow stone is on this side and the orange stone is on this side. But on this figure, it's the opposite. No, that isn't an actual complaint, but I don't know, I found that mildly interesting. But still, this is one of the coolest Marvel Legends accessories I've ever seen, and I'm definitely going to be bringing it out later to compare with other figures. Although moving away from some of the new sculpted parts, I would like to talk about the paint on this figure, since it's pretty dang spectacular. I mean, there isn't really much paint since it's mostly just like, the arms and the hands, and most of the legs are molded in one color, same for the torso, but there's a bit of black paint here on the upper thighs, and of course, the head is painted really well thanks to Hasbro's, Marvel Legends face printing technology. Same goes for the hair. It actually has some brighter yellows and a bit more orange in other parts of the hair, just to make the overall texturing stand out. I would like to say, though, there is a bit of sloppiness on the inner yellow of the collar and the actual skull on the cape, but they aren't actually really noticeable on camera at all. So hey, I guess that problem solved itself. But hey, looks are only part of a figure. We also gotta see how well this Adam Warlock moves. And since it's mostly just the Vulcan body mold, he probably moves pretty well. Now, he does have the standard, disc hinge head, but thanks to the collar, it's a little limited in how far he can look up, but hey, he still looks up a pretty fair amount. He also gets a little bit of down, blocked by the collar of his cape though, and side to side. He's got butterfly joints, which let him move his arms forward and back, along with shoulders that can move forward and back and hinge about 90 degrees. He's got bicep swivel that gets you 180 degree rotation, along with double jointed elbows with a nearly perfect bend, which is pretty dang nice. He's also got hands that can spin around, and the accessory holding ones that he comes pre-packed with hinge up and down, but all the other hands in the box instead hinge side to side, like on most Marvel Legends. Now, he's got an ab crunch, which lets him bend forward a pretty dang far amount, and arch back a really good amount, which, hey, would make for some pretty good flying poses on Adam Warlock, and of course, the waist swivel gets you turning all the way around. He's got ball-jointed hips that can kick about 90 degrees, which is pretty good, and get a really good split, along with thigh cut, which, like I said, all the way around. He's got double-jointed knees with a really, really good bend, which, in fact, that's pretty much perfect, along with boot swivel and ankles that can hinge forward, backwards, and pivot side to side. So overall, pretty standard articulation, for the Vulcan body mold, but that's pretty dang good since, the Vulcan body mold has really, really good articulation for a Marvel Legends. Alright, moving on to the figure comparisons, and I'm going to be starting out with, of course, the standard male and female comparisons, Renew Your Vows, Spider-Man, and Spinneret. Of course, we gotta bring out the heart and soul of the Marvel Universe, so of course, here's the 20th anniversary of Marvel Legends Captain America, who's unfortunately missing one of the wings on his helmet. Of course, we gotta bring out the strongest one there is, the Incredible Hulk. The one on the left is from Toy Biz's Face Off line, and the one on the right is from Hasbro's 20th anniversary of Marvel Legends line. It also just so happens to be the most common Hulk body Hasbro uses. For another Marvel hero who is also an appreciator of red and yellow collared capes connected by a medallion, we have the classic version of Doctor Strange, which is also fantastic, just like this Adam Warlock, even more so actually. Now, for the Prince of Asgard, I have this fine number right here from the Destroyer 2-pack that actually matches his appearance from the Infinity Gauntlet story. But of course, you can't talk about Adam Warlock, especially since this one's from the Infinity Gauntlet, without talking about the Mad Titan Thanos. This is the Infinity Gauntlet Deluxe Thanos with the Walmart exclusive smiling Thanos head slapped on, cause I unfortunately lost the main head that came with the Deluxe Thanos. Also, for some of the few other Cosmic Marvel characters I have, we have Vance Astro, at least I think that's his name, and the Kree Sentry. But for the greatest cosmic marvel of them all, we have Galactus. Now you may be thinking, hey, there's a bunch of figures you didn't show off in the comparisons that would be pretty dang appropriate to pull out for an Infinity Gauntlet Adam Warlock. Well, that's because I actually want to see if the Infinity Gauntlet fits on those figures specifically. For the Armored Avenger Iron Man, we have the 80th anniversary of Marvel version on the left and the modular armor on the right. Unfortunately, the gauntlet doesn't fit on either, especially not the 80th anniversary Iron Man. But if you did want to make it work, you could repaint Iron Man's gauntlet glove thingamabob to actually match the Infinity Gauntlet, since, I mean, it's already an armored glove, so it would kind of match with the gauntlet. The same also goes for Marvel's greatest villain, at least overall, Dr. Doom, who looks surprisingly menacing thanks to the lighting masking his mask. Which also so happens to mask his face. Just like Iron Man, the gauntlet piece itself doesn't fit, but the glove does. Although I'd say for Dr. Doom it works even better since A, his arms themselves aren't gold, so, the gauntlet piece itself would stand out, and the gauntlet piece that's already on Dr. Doom does kind of match the way the Infinity Gauntlet's, gauntlet looks. For a bit of an out there one, we have the retro-carded She-Hulk. And hey, the gauntlet piece actually fits. I mainly wanted to try this just because I thought it would be a fun visual to have She-Hulk with the Infinity Gauntlet. I would like to mention though, the gauntlet piece itself is pretty loose and, well, yeah, it'll spin around if you give it a little bit of movement. Which isn't the case with Warlock and other figures on the Vulcan body mold. Since I already did with a comparison with Warlock, I'm just gonna skip straight to the gauntlet. Here's the Infinity Gauntlet on Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. I mainly wanted to do this because, it's another beloved super articulated Marvel Legends body, and also, this comparison would also apply to any figure on the Sunfire body mold, since the limbs from Renew Your Vows are pretty much just a mildly modified version of the limbs from the Marvel Legends Sunfire. So, yeah, if you got a figure on the Sunfire body mold, this Infinity Gauntlet will fit just fine. Moving on to some characters who have actually wielded the Infinity Gauntlet, whether it's in main continuity or an alternate one like What If. Starting off, we have Norman Osborn as the Iron Patriot. The gauntlet piece doesn't fit on all the way, but still, the hand clicks into place for the most part, and it looks pretty good. Which honestly surprised me with how bulky the Iron Patriot's arms are. In case you want to recreate that time in the Illuminati comics, where Reed Richards briefly wielded the Infinity Gauntlet, or you just want to do a custom of some members of the Council of Reeds, well, I have good news and bad news. The good news is both the hand, of course, and the gauntlet piece do fit on, but Reed's arm is a bit too skinny for the gauntlet piece, so it goes down pretty far. Now, if you do bend Reed's arms, all the way, then it actually holds the gauntlet in a pretty good place, but if you're going for a more neutral position like this, then yeah, the gauntlet piece is either going to be sitting pretty low, or is just going to be very loose and wobbling around. But finally, we have the Marvel Legends comic Black Panther. And yeah, of course this is gonna work since they're both on the Vulcan body mold, but I just really want to see how this looks since I've seen a bunch of other people try this. And yeah, just as I expected, this looks really cool. But, as is tradition, here's the Marvel Legends Infinity Gauntlet Adam Warlock with Hit Monkey and Goliath. Now, in terms of accessories, I've already shown off and talked about the Infinity Gauntlet enough. But Adam does come with some other alternate hands. He comes packed in with 2 accessory holding hands. But of course, he does come with the tried and true pair of fists. Adam also comes with 2 accessories for those accessory holding hands. The coolest of which being this awesome staff. It's got a lot of nice wood texturing on it, along with this awesome bird at the top. The other accessory is a little less cool, but still pretty neat. It's a plastic mini comic which features the cover of the Infinity Gauntlet #1, which of course was shown off plenty of times on the box and is the basis of this Adam Warlock. It's actually printed pretty well. In fact, there's even like little staples sculpted into the side of the book, although it's really hard to get them on camera, but you can kind of see them. There's also a Marvel Legends series logo on the back, which is a pretty nice touch. Now, in terms of the price, I actually have some relatively good news. Adam Warlock is a very recent Marvel Legends release, and he isn't too hard to find. Personally, I was able to find him at a GameStop today for the retail price of $25. But if you're resorting to looking on eBay, the prices are usually between $30 and $40 in box. I'd advise not paying that increased price and just, trying to actually look for him for retail. But I mean, if you're just paying $30, it's not that bad. So hey, for once, a fairly highly requested Marvel Legends remake doesn't shoot up in prices immediately. If you couldn't tell, I'm pretty dang satisfied with this Adam Warlock. Granted, I have 2 minor complaints. Like I said earlier, I feel like the head sculpt should be a bit of a deeper orange in color. Since I feel like the one that was actually released is a bit too light and blends in with his hair too much, and also, honestly, I really couldn't care for the whole mini-comic gimmick. But, if it means we're getting very specific or highly requested looks like Adam Warlock, Rom Space Knight, or Ultimate Iron Man, and especially that Green Banshee remake, well, I mean, I'm not complaining, and I don't think it really took away from any accessories I would have liked. I mean, I guess I would have instead preferred like an open Infinity Gauntlet hand along with the fist one we got, but hey, like I said, I'm pretty satisfied with everything else. The other accessories, the sculpting and paintwork, and especially that Infinity Gauntlet are all spectacular. Along with this being the standard Marvel Legends retail price, well, despite his flaws, I'm gonna give the Marvel Legends mini comic wave Adam Warlock a 10 out of 10. He could be the tiniest bit better, but still, I feel like this is the best we can get. But hey, if you disagree, tell me about it in the comments. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say, as long as you're civil about it. And also, hey, if you're still here watching, well, first of all, thank you, and secondly, have a great day, 'cause you deserve it. Bye-bye.